Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the CLI Ball for All. My name is Debbie Shear. I will be your host and your partner in fundraising, and I'm so honored to be here with you tonight. I'm really excited as we celebrate all of the people in the organizations that have come together in such ways around diversity, inclusivity, and equity. So thank you for being here tonight. I'm pretty sure I speak for most of us when I say we would have loved to have gathered in person, right? Unless maybe if you're the true introvert out there, you're probably thinking, no way, I never want to leave the virtual world. But for most of us, we would really love to gather in person. And you know what? COVID-19 had other plans. And so CLI had to make a really difficult decision. Do they cancel this event altogether? Do they postpone and wait until we can gather safely in person? Or do they do something else? And they determined that canceling, honestly, it was just not right for those who have doubled down on their equity, inclusivity, and diversity efforts during this really difficult year. Now, postponing is tricky because we don't really know when we can all gather in person in a large group. So they decided to pivot to the virtual world. And that's why we're here, and that's why you're here, and we're so grateful that you're joining us. So even though COVID-19 is preventing us from giving each other hugs and handshakes and pats on the back, one thing it can never do, it will never prevent us from showing our love and support for CLI. So thank you for being here. Now, we want you to have the most enjoyable experience possible tonight, so I have a suggestion for you. I would suggest that you watch the event on your laptop or your TV and you do your bidding on your phone. Although I will tell you, you can bid directly on your laptop, so keep that in mind if that works for you. So we have a wonderful evening for you, so sit back and relax and let's get started. It is my pleasure to bring to the virtual stage for the very first time Sarah Scott, who is the CEO of the Center for Legal Inclusiveness, and Phyllis Wan, who is the board chair of directors for the Center for Legal Inclusiveness and the Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officer for Holland & Hart LLP. Welcome you two to your first, I'm thinking this is your first virtual gala?
It sure is.
It is? And
is.
I have to say, I love you both have your Mardi Gras beads on. I want to tell you, I was going to wear this mask, but I could not bear the thought of putting another mask on. So I said, forget it, I'm not going to do it. But I appreciate how festive you look. This is fantastic.
And Debbie, that reminds me that we are all vaccinated.
Oh my gosh.
So we can be on
we can
the virtual stage.
We can. We are.
Without mask, which is huge.
Yes, although you could wear this kind of mask. We don't need the other kind of mask. But you're right. It is huge. It is huge. So thank you for bringing that up. So I want to ask you, I want to ask you a question. I want to know truly, how are you, Sarah?
You know what? I'm great. I'm so happy to be here tonight. I'm so thankful to all of you watching. I am elated to everybody who continues to support CLI and has supported CLI in the last year. As many of you know, I took over as the CEO almost 1 year ago on April 27th. So it is just really exciting to be, part of this gala, even though it's virtual, and to honor those of you who have done such amazing work this year as it relates to equity, diversity, and inclusivity. So I'm great, Debbie.
I know. I was going to say, but it kind of sounds like, I'm not saying this is exactly what happened, but it sounds like CLI said, hey, welcome. And here's your pandemic package. This is your welcome package, right?
Did you know?
I mean, that's just weird, terrible
That's what you put
timing.
in my offer letter.
I know, right? And you said, I can't refuse an offer like that.
I know.
So it's been an interesting year for you. So thank you for sharing. And Phyllis, of course, the same question. How are you?
I'm great. I was the one who got to hand it off last year, so that was really great for me. But no, I mean, I'm great. I mean, honestly, who would have ever known, right? Who would have ever known that we were this year? What has it been, 13, 14 months later? But I feel so good because I see that light at the end of the tunnel. We talked about being vaccinated. This ball every year was a chance for the diverse community in Colorado and all the allies to get together. And so I know some of you are watching at home, and you got to get together in the breakout rooms, but we really feel that we're excited to be able to celebrate those who have really, really made an effort for many years, but especially the last year, for diversity, equity, and inclusion in Colorado and beyond. So I'm really happy to be here.
Excellent.
I'm excited.
I love it. I love it. So this year, for every individual, every organization, has been a year of the pivot, right? We are all sick of that word pivot, but I have to use it one more time. I apologize. So I'm curious to know, how have you pivoted during this last year?
Debbie, when I came on, I knew that we had to serve our members, serve our community, make sure that we gave people the tools that they needed as it relates to equity, diversity, and inclusivity. It is imperative for us all to remember that those are racial and social justice tools. So as we came into the dual pandemics of COVID-19 and also finally having systemic racism at the forefront of our American psyche, we knew that we had to jump in and provide support and be the leaders that we are and be the team that we are, and come together and figure out sort of how to support our members and how to support the community. And I have to say, I hope you agree, Phyllis, that after a year, we did a pretty good job.
Oh, I think we did an amazing job, because we really didn't know in the beginning what we had in store for us. We just didn't. And when after all of our companies and our schools and everyone had to figure out how to pivot, then we all realized that we were missing that essential element, where we all love getting together and supporting one another and mentoring, sponsoring one another. And so to have the opportunity to work with CLI and produce great programming, but also opportunities for our young lawyers and everyone, I think we did a great job pivoting. I really do. And I know that a lot of companies and organizations like us all over the country pivoted, but I think we did an admirable job.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you. Now, I don't want to get stuck in the pandemic mode, right? I don't want to get stuck in the pivot. That's so easy to do, right? So I do want to ask you, when you think about the future, what is giving you hope right now?
Oh, Debbie, I have so much hope for the future. First of all, I can't wait to see all of you in person and return to some of our really important events, such as the Rocky Mountain Career Fair and our Summer Associates Happy Hour and all of our other networking events, as well as continuing with our programming. But it was really amazing. Just a couple of weeks ago, I was able to actually testify in front of the Colorado Supreme Court about making equity, diversity, and inclusivity a mandatory rule for all attorneys, meaning that all attorneys now have to take trainings in that area, which will simply be incredible. We got this new rule passed, and we are excited. I know that you are with me, Phyllis, in the EDI community about what we accomplished.
That's fantastic. Thank you for testifying. First of all, that is super, that is a big deal. So thank you for that, but that is very hopeful. And so Phyllis, I'm going to ask you the same question. When you think about the future, what brings you hope?
Yeah. I come at it from a different perspective, because now I am in a member organization of CLI. And first as board chair, I'm exposed to all the different things that our community is doing, our members are doing, whether they're in-house corporations, nonprofit, government, law firms. But then as an actual member organization, I've been really thrilled at how we've been able to partner together and work with groups such as the Denver Law Firm Coalition for Racial Equity and others, because so much momentum has built from the last 13 months, from what happened last summer, the racial reckoning. And so many people have really embraced learning more about what they can do. And they're really motivated to be looking into their own unconscious biases and their own privileges and saying, what can I do as an ally? So we're taking that, energy, and now we get to move forward in person. So it's really exciting.
It is really exciting, Phyllis. And I really want to thank our sponsors. I mean, we've had so many people who have worked together to create this event.
But I have to interrupt you first, though, because I need to thank some other people. I need to thank, before I thank you, I really do need to, if you don't mind, I want to thank
Please.
Our Gala committee. Our Gala committee really put this together and really has worked so hard for the last couple of months. Our Gala committee consists of many of our board members, including Joel Sayers at Fagery, Drinker Biddle, Lisa Mickley at Holland Evans, John Baker, who's our board treasurer, and he is the retired executive director of the Colorado Attorney Mentor Program, myself, but really the entire board helped us to put this event together. But most of all, it was Sarah and it was SJ with the help of our marketing and production team. But I just wanted to say thank you to them before you thanked our sponsors. So
Well,
thank you.
and Phyllis, we could not have done this without you. Many late night phone calls, holding my hand, telling me how to do certain things. I just thank you so much for your support and dedication to CLI. You know, you are so busy, and just to hang in there with me and SJ, we really appreciate you. So thank you so much.
It means a lot to all of us.
Yeah. And thank you so much to our sponsors. Honestly, we could not have put on this event without you. Our Inclusiveness at Work award sponsors, Bakery Drinker, Holland and Hart, Sherman and Howard, thank you so much for your huge commitment and giving CLI all that you have. For our signature sponsors, thank you to all of you. Our partner sponsors, thank you so much. And our patron sponsors, thank you so much, as well as our supporting sponsors. We couldn't be happier for you really giving us everything that we needed to put on this presentation, to put on this virtual gala. And there's no way that we could have announced and presented the awards that we're about to go into without you. So thank you so much. So let's talk about our Inclusiveness at Work Awards. It was stiff competition this year. There's a lot going on. People are really doing their best to make sure that equity, diversity, and inclusivity stays at the forefront of people's minds and people's hearts as we get through this difficult time, and as we make sure that, you know, what we've learned from this difficult time, we implement into systems. So thank you so much to these award sponsors. So let's start off. With our Young Professional Award.
Good evening. Thank you all for being here today. My name is Jordan Fox. I'm a partner at Sherman and Howard. I am also honored to serve on the Center for Legal Inclusiveness's Board of Directors. Sherman and Howard is a longtime supporter of the Center for Legal Inclusiveness, and we are committed to diversity, equity, and inclusivity in the workplace. It is our honor to announce this year's finalists for the Young Professional Inclusiveness at Work Awards. The finalists are Tina Van Bakeren, Moral Shoei, and Johnny Wen. The recipient of the 2021 Inclusiveness at Work Young Professional Award goes to Johnny Wen. Congratulations.
Hi, my name is Johnny Wen. I'm a 3L at the University of Colorado Law School, and I could not be more honored to be receiving this award tonight. In 1 week from tonight's event, I'll be graduating law school as an openly gay man and as an Asian American, what I like to refer to as a Gaysian. And as a Gaysian, I could not be more appreciative of CLI's work and also for being such a pivotal part of Colorado's legal community. Really quickly, I just want to give some shout outs. First to my law firm, Lewis Brisbois, Bisgard & Smith, for investing in me after law school and also for investing in Colorado's efforts for diversity and inclusion. Next, I want to thank some of my mentors, Michael Kerrigan, Kevin McReynolds, Catherine Vaughn, and Justice William Hood for holding my hand throughout law school. And if you're wondering why I have so many mentors, it's because I need a lot of hand holding. And then I want to thank some of my closest friends, Mina, Andre, and Spencer, for being so supportive and always believing me throughout this journey. Really quickly, I just want to give a quick reminder to my attorney friends out there. When I grew up, I was the child of immigrants, both of them from Vietnam. And I grew up translating a lot for my parents as they couldn't speak English. In the times that I failed to translate for them, I saw that they got taken advantage of, either their money or their time. And the reason I bring this up is because as I navigated the legal profession, I started to realize that the law itself is really a language. And those who get to speak it get to become the decision makers in our society. They get to decide who gets to vote, who gets to get married, who gets to cross our borders, and whose lives matter. This is an important reminder in that being an attorney is a huge privilege, and we can make a huge impact in our communities, in the courtroom, and in Congress. And so with that being said, I want to thank you all for your continued work, providing pro bono legal services, giving back to the community, and also advocating for diversity and inclusion. With that being said, thank you so much for being here with me tonight to celebrate diversity.
Wow, Johnny, you have already done so much. It's amazing to hear your story, amazing to hear about all of the different organizations and efforts that you have participated in. This award is really well deserving. Congratulations, really. And I can speak for all of us to say that we cannot wait to see what you do in the future. We will be watching. And next, for our individual award.
Hello, my name is Mary Hirschway. I am an associate at Faegre Drinker Biddle and Reith's Denver office, practicing in the Products Liability and Mass Torts Group. I'm also co-lead, along with my colleague Sharina Smith, of Faegre Drinker's Denver Office Diversity Collective, which partners with our other offices to form a firm-wide resource and support network for our diverse attorneys and professionals. Faegre Drinker is a longtime supporter of the Center for Legal Inclusiveness, and we are committed to diversity, equity, and inclusivity. It is our honor to announce this year's finalists for the Individual Inclusiveness at Work Awards. The finalists are Deborah Yem, Maritza Dominguez-Braswell, and Miranda Vieira. And the Inclusiveness at Work Award goes to Maritza Dominguez-Braswell.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for this award. I was told to prepare a speech, so here goes. Mostly it will consist of one giant thank you to everybody at the AG's office. But before I do that, I just want to give a little context. When I moved to Colorado in the 90s with my family, I felt pretty alone. I was the only brown kid in my middle school, and that feeling of being alone followed me for a long time into college at DU and even beyond that. And then I moved out east, and I went to Rutgers Law, where I plugged into the minority student program. And there I found a community of brothers and sisters who spoke my language, mi idioma, who understood my family's immigrant story, who knew me, the real me. When I moved back to Colorado as an adult and a lawyer, I promised myself that no matter where I landed, I would never let any of my brothers and sisters feel alone. And I consider anyone who is marginalized, oppressed, or experienced racism or hate to be part of my family. But we have so much work to do here in Colorado. Bias and racism is baked into our judicial system. 40% of defendants in Colorado are Black or Latino, but only 2.5% of district court judges are Black and only 7.5% are Latino. The numbers are worse with prosecutors. Only 2% are Black and 5% are Latino. And this matters because when it comes to identifying charges, setting bail, deciding a sentence, our decision makers are people who can't speak our idioma. They don't know our stories. It's much harder for them to empathize. And this is also true in the private sector. The Denver Business Journal keeps a list of the 25 largest law firms here in Denver. This is Denver, the city of Denver. In 2014, minority attorneys were only 9.23% of all attorneys in those big law firms. 3 years later, and that number only inched up by about 1.5%. And obviously the numbers get worse as you go up the chain. Now, CU recently celebrated its most racially ethnic diverse class ever. 36% of incoming students identified as people of color. This means that in 2023, All of those students, law students, are going to graduate and move into our legal community. But that's going to mean nothing if we can't support them, really support them, give them meaningful networks, help them with student debt, give them the training they need, move them into our judicial system in a way that makes a difference. I feel privileged to be part of a team at the AG's office that is dedicated to transforming our legal community and even our own organization. Our Colorado Attorney General and his leadership team are deeply committed to this work. Under Phil's leadership, 5 of the 8 deputies are women. Over 30% of his very top leadership team is racially and ethnically diverse. We have the first ever deputy for DE&I, and we're transforming the culture with a DE&I committee that is 80 strong and still growing. The road ahead is a really, really long road, but with a team like this, I feel really good, really confident that we're going to make a difference. Thank you so much to my colleagues for this nomination. It feels a little off to receive an individual award for work like this because it is a huge team effort. But thank you to Dave Powell, Sonia Russo, John Lee, Francis Senya, Karen Mashuli, Eric Meyer, Steve Kaufman, Amy Beatty, Robin Meidhoff, Andy Cooper, Janet Drake, Matt Baca, Sam Walker. And thank you to our Chief Deputy, Natalie Hanlon-Lay, for all of her support. I couldn't do this work without her. Thank you also to our Solicitor General, Eric Olson, who has been very supportive, but also has rolled up his sleeves to do this work with me. And of course, thank you to our Colorado Attorney General, Phil Weiser. Thank you, Phil, for investing in me, for investing in this work, for investing in Colorado's diverse communities. Without Phil's leadership and support, I wouldn't be here.
Maritza is truly inspiring. Even in her acceptance speech, she reminds us of the work that we have to do. She reminds us that there is much more work to be done, and she inspires us to move forward in that work. Maritza made me promise that I would give a huge shout out to the DEI impact team at the Department of Law. She wrote, "That is the impact team's passion and dedication that fuels all of this amazing work." Maritza says that this award belongs to them. Congratulations. And now to our Nonprofit Government Agency and Community Organization Award.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Lucy Stark, and I'm the managing partner of Holland & Hart. Holland & Hart is proud to support the Center for Legal Inclusiveness and Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion in our community. We value inclusivity and diversity in our workplace, which is why we included a mandatory 25-hour DE&I requirement for all lawyers last year. For a long time, we've understood the unique role that lawyers play in pro bono work and community service. It's why we've had an annual 100-hour pro bono requirement for many years. For these reasons, we're proud to announce the winner of this year's Inclusiveness at Work Award in the Nonprofit, Government, and Community Organization category. And the 3 finalists for this award are Youth Celebrate Diversity, the Colorado Women's Bar Association, the Association of Legal Administrators Mile High Chapter, and this year's 2021 Inclusiveness at Work Award in this category goes to Youth Celebrate Diversity. Congratulations.
Thank you so much for this recognition. My work through YCD means so much to me because YCD has provided me with a platform to learn more about myself, have meaningful and necessary conversations, and meet other amazing students from all across the state to create the change that we, as youth, want to see in this world.
Thank you so much for this recognition. My work through YCD means so much to me because YCD is an inclusive organization that elevates the voices of youth such as myself.
Thank you so much for this recognition. It really means a lot to myself and all the other people who work on YCD. And I'd say that my work through YCD really means a lot to me because I not only have found a safe space for myself, but I've also been able to provide a safe space for all the other people out there who need it.
Hi, thank you so much for this recognition. My work through YCD means so much to me because it has provided me with the tools necessary to create safe spaces for everyone, wherever I go. And it has also given me the opportunity to help others. Thank you.
Thank you so much for this award and your support. As an organization, YCD has allowed me to connect with fellow students all across the state, and your support ensures that these imperative conversations will continue to impact more and more students.
Thank you so much for this award. It's truly an honor. You know, whether it's first-generation students fighting to get into college or teen athletes working to make sports more inclusive and welcoming for students from all backgrounds, or LGBTQ students fighting for their rights in schools, or students of color speaking out against microaggressions and other forms of oppression, YCD stands with young people working to make schools and communities safe and inclusive for all. Thank you so much.
What an amazing group of young people. How inspiring and how heartfelt. I can't believe how many lives they've touched. They literally have touched thousands of lives in their efforts. They are so well deserving of this award. I just want to say congratulations, and what an organization. Our next category is business and corporate. The finalists in the Business and Corporation category are Law Bank and Excel Energy. The 2021 Inclusiveness at Work Award goes to Law Bank. Congratulations.
Hello, my name is Jordan Dyfick, and I'm an owner of Law Bank. It is an honor to accept the 2021 Inclusiveness at Work Award in the Business or Corporate category on behalf of myself, as well as my partner and friend, Jay Camlet, today. We started Law Bank almost a decade ago to fill a need in Colorado's legal industry. Specifically, the solo practitioners and small law firms needed a community to support their business success. Going into this, we knew that about 20% of small businesses fail within the first year, and about 50% have faltered by the end of their fifth year. We wanted to change these statistics for small law firms, but to do so, they need a safe and inclusive place to grow and thrive. Since there was a need for such a community and it didn't exist already, we created it. To us, the Law Bank community is more than commercial space or a business address. It's bigger than that. Community is about creating a place where you feel you belong, where you're welcomed and supported, where you can bring pictures of your family to your office and not worry about judgment, where you can ask colleagues for help if you are struggling with something personally or professionally, where you can celebrate big wins or talk through what you learned from a loss. A place where diversity, inclusivity, and equity are not only actualized, but are considered core strengths. This CLI award is a validation of our original mission. We wanted Law Bank to be more than just office space. We wanted it to be a community. And Jay, we did just that. Many thanks to Sarah Scott and CLI for this award. We are thankful and honored.
Law Bank is truly one of the most innovative concepts that I have ever seen. When I first moved back to Colorado, I had the opportunity to meet the other Law Bank owner, Jay Camlet, who has become a dear friend. Jay is a community leader, and as I got to know Law Bank, I knew that that was the place where I needed to house my new law firm. I was with Law Bank for many years, where I prospered with the sense of community and inclusivity that Jordan just spoke about. Congratulations, Law Bank. So well deserved. And now we are finally on to our law firm and legal organization category. The finalists in the law firm and legal organizations category are Dorsey & Whitney LLP, Holland & Hart LLP, and Wilmer Hale. The 2021 Inclusiveness at Work Award goes to Wilmer Hale. Congratulations.
Hi everybody, I'm Nora Pasamanik, a partner in Wilmer Hale's Denver office. We are so honored to be recognized by the Center for Legal Inclusiveness, an organization that has led the way for Colorado's legal community on equity, inclusiveness, and diversity. We're proud to stand with CLI and so many other law firms, government offices, and lawyers who are working aggressively to make the legal community a better place. WilmerHale has worked hard to not just talk the talk, but walk the walk. We've invested in closing the opportunity gap and increasing the pipeline for diverse attorneys. We've worked to protect immigrant families torn apart at the border. And we've worked on police reform and ways to address systemic racism. This is a critical time, a time where we can't ignore the tragedy and pain suffered by so many and seen every day on the television. We recognize how hard we must still work to make equity and justice a reality. We still have a long way to go, but we at WilmerHale pledge to do that hard, sacred work in partnership with all of you. So thank you so much for this award, both as recognition and as a reminder of the pledge we've all made for the future. Thank you.
All of our finalists in this category are truly doing innovative equity, diversity, and inclusivity work. But it was WilmerHale who has doubled down on those efforts during the last year and is well deserving of this award. Congratulations, WilmerHale. So Debbie, oh, you appear.
This is the magical world of virtual. It is.
There you are.
Here I am. It's amazing. I mean, I was going to say congratulations to not only all of the nominees, but all of the award recipients. You know, we're so grateful for how they show up in the world. That's really, right? That's how they're showing up in the world. So congratulations and thank you. And now we want to share a little bit more about the Center for Legal Inclusiveness and the work that you've been doing, but not only that, the work that you are dedicated to continuing. So take a look.
The epic pandemic of COVID-19 in 2020 led everyone to a time of great despair. No one knew what was going to happen next. And what happened next was the unarmed killing of many Black men and women, including Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and George Floyd. It was a year when racial and social injustice was finally at the forefront of the American psyche. And as a country, we are now fighting two pandemics, that of COVID-19 and that of systemic racism.
COVID has exacerbated inequities and also resulted in shrinking resources to the marginalized communities and to the nonprofits that serve them.
As we face COVID-19 and shrinking resources, we must redouble our efforts to make diversity and inclusion a priority. Quite simply, we need your help.
In the wake of this traumatic time, the work of the Center for Legal Inclusiveness became more important than ever. As an organization, we jumped into action. We brought in Dr. Aaron Reeves to discuss COVID-19 and its implications. And then, after the murder of George Floyd, we had a virtual town hall that reached over 3,000 people. We brought you the relevant, actionable content required to turn equity, diversity, and inclusivity into the racial and social justice tools they are. There's a lot of work we can still do and a lot that needs to happen. That's why we need to make sure to carry this very important load together.
As many of us already know, we have a major problem in our profession around representation, around belonging and inclusion, around equity.
The legal profession is also among one of the lowest as it relates to race and ethnic diversity. This fact alone means that many people come to the system looking for help and they see attorneys and judges who look nothing like them. The Center for Legal Inclusiveness offers several trainings for attorneys to ensure they understand the plight of those they represent and can effectively identify issues such as bias and microaggressions. Our trainings simply create better lawyers.
Communities deserve lawyers who look like them, who understand them. They also deserve lawyers who may be different than them, but who understand issues of bias, who value empathy, and who are trained in cross-cultural communication.
Throughout my career, I've chosen to support diversity and inclusion, not only because they are essential to the well-being of underrepresented individuals, but because they enrich and strengthen our profession's integrity. It is imperative that our legal profession represent the community that it serves.
Equity, diversity, and inclusivity is the path to remedy so much of the social injustice and systemic racism that pervades our country and legal system.
CLI educates and supports Colorado's organizations to create cultures of inclusion. Events like CLI Summit educate our community with tools to make meaningful impacts.
Last summer, our virtual summit was praised as one of the best. That is where we offered additional actionable, relevant content that could be implemented that same day. We also had a Getting It Right series, where we addressed the rise in hate crime in the Asian American and Pacific Islander community and how to be a bystander intervener. In that same series, we worked and trained on issues of coming out in the workplace as we sought to demonstrate inclusivity and belonging at work and how paramount that is. We then reminded our entire community that we have been traumatized from the dual pandemics and the ways to handle this in the workplace.
You know, I benefited greatly from my white male privilege in the practice of law, but realized very early on that a diverse, inclusive, and equitable profession made the legal system strong and viable in the long run.
CLI is an essential part of lawyers' lives before, during, and after law school. They've also helped to up the game when it comes to DEI awareness, which I think has helped to change assumptions and also the hiring practices of large corporations, large law firms, to be more inclusive of attorneys of color.
Because of your support, we have been able to train over 1,400 people in the legal profession since last April. Because of your support, we have been able to offer scholarships to diverse students, paying for their Barbary courses and supplementing their living expenses. Because of your support, we have been able to offer Tips of the Month to further educate on equity, diversity, and inclusivity. Because of your support, we have been able to offer monthly programming about the issues that directly relate to equity, diversity, and inclusivity. Thank you for all that you have given the Center for Legal Inclusiveness. And thank you for the hundreds of people that you have touched in the process. We are so very grateful.
Giving to CLI will support the programs, training, and resources that are essential to law firms, lawyers, law students, and corporate legal departments now more than ever.
And this next year, we will continue the work that we started last April and bring you the solutions needed to implement social and racial justice through equity, diversity, and inclusivity. We're also looking forward to launching premier consultation services so that you have the tools to remain effective. Finally, our focus will be toward retention and trainings relating to how to create inclusivity from day one.
Improving diversity and inclusion is critical for all of us for so many reasons, including the evidence-based research that shows it improves businesses' bottom lines.
We ask that you join us in this fight. Please consider donating tonight as we work together to reinstate confidence in our justice system by doubling down on our equity, diversity, and inclusivity efforts. Let's create a social justice system that we can all be proud of. Please donate, and thank you so much for attending this event.
I love that video. I love that video because it does give us a deeper dive into the really, and you said it best, like the really critical work that you're doing now more than ever. And so we have reached the portion in the program where we're going to enter the paddle race. And so I just want to say, for many of you who have been to an in-person event in the past, over a year ago, you might be familiar with the paddle raise. And when somebody called out the level of giving, you probably raised your paddle high in the air, and that was you letting them know that you wanted to donate at that level. Well, we're going to do the same thing, but in the virtual world. And so we're going to call out different levels of giving. And when you feel, when you hear a level that you feel financially and emotionally moved by, I'm going to challenge you to donate at that level. And just a reminder on how to do this. Super simple. If you're looking at your computer or your phone, you're going to see there's a green donate button. Go ahead and click that. There's also a green live button. You may click that and you can donate. And also just remember, you can donate any dollar amount at any time. And we're really just appreciative of it all, right? I mean, we know that. I also want to say, I don't know how you feel about this, but we have, I think it's like close to 400 people joining tonight. Wow. And so imagine the impact that we could have if we had 100% of the people joining us give something.
Absolutely.
That's powerful.
Yes, it is.
So let's go ahead and get started. And I want to start with the $3,000 level. And I want to honor the fact that $3,000 is a lot of money because it has a big impact. So Sarah, could you share with us what could $3,000 do for CLI?
Oh, Debbie, $3,000 could do a ton. So we are able to give out diversity scholarships for those studying for the bar exam. A very stressful time. It's actually incredibly stressful. It was a long time ago for me. We could give out 2 additional diversity scholarships if we were able to raise $3,000. And I want to tell you a little bit about one of our recipients from this year, from 2021. I want to tell you about Tiara. She has not had an easy life. She is a working mother. She has put herself through law school. She lost her partner to the criminal justice system, and she has been so grateful for this award. I want to read something that she wrote. She actually, after law school this fall, is going to join the public defender service. She writes, "Traditionally, people like me have been silenced and obstructed from joining the legal profession, but that doesn't have to be the case in the future. And I think that CLI understands the importance of honoring that and supporting young lawyers who become from these lesser walked places in life." Mm-hmm. What an amazing, amazing story she has, an amazing woman. 2 more scholarships like that we could get from $3,000.
That is amazing. That's very powerful, very powerful. So if you're watching and joining us tonight and you feel moved and that $3,000 level speaks to you, we want to challenge you to give at that level right now. And so while people are doing that, let's keep going, let's keep moving, and let's chat for a minute about $2,000 and what could $2,000 do?
Sure. So you know what, we, as you know, have been doing a lot of monthly programming, and we recently had a program about women in the legal community and how far have we really come, right? As we know, the legal community is one of the least diverse places as it relates to professions. And afterwards, I actually got an email from a man who said that he took 3 pages of notes because he was so inspired by what he learned during that program. With $2,000, Debbie, we could continue to bring in expert equity, diversity, and inclusivity speakers. We could continue to have programs like the ones that we have had. We could continue to educate people and continue to really spread knowledge about how people can really double down on their equity, diversity, and inclusivity efforts in an actionable way. So $2,000 could go really far. One of our supporters actually said that they were happy to support and that you all have taken CLI to another level. I want to also say that with $2,000, we could support 12 students to come to our virtual summit. With $2,000, we can provide food and beverages for our Lunch and Learn series and our Summer Associates program. So we could do a ton with $2,000.
That's fantastic. First of all, shout out to the note takers of the world. I'd like to say that's fantastic. 3 pages of notes. Thank you for that. And so, you know, if $2,000 is within your means and that's a dollar amount that speaks to you, please feel free to go ahead and donate that right now. And let's keep going. So let's talk for a minute. Let's just jump down to the $1,500 level and what that could do. I know that has a huge impact as well.
It does, Debbie. We actually train a lot of nonprofits who can't afford to pay us like other people can. And we've gotten amazing reviews. I want to just read a couple of them to you. Thank you, Sarah. As I told my board of directors, it was one of the best I have ever attended. Another said, thank you so much for the excellent DEI training you provided. The series was both informative and inspiring. And another said, the CLI training created a space for our office to have meaningful and open conversation about ways to be more inclusive. I feel more prepared not just to recognize racism and lack of inclusivity, but to call it out and ensure I am an accomplice in actively combating discrimination and ensuring diversity. $1,500 could allow us to give so many more trainings to these nonprofit organizations.
And when you think about that, how important it is that nonprofits are trained, because think about their reach, right? And their scope, and they take that information and they just pour that into their communities. So that is so, so critical. So if $1,500 speaks to you, please feel free to go ahead and donate right now. And of course, just remember that you may donate any dollar amount at any time. But we're going to keep going and we're going to move down to the $500 level.
Yeah.
And could you share a little bit about what that could do?
Sure, $500. I mean, every level really, Debbie.
Yeah.
Just before we go any further, can help CLI immensely. I mean, we have done so much in the last year, and we really need your support to continue to grow and continue to educate and continue to do the work that we've started. At $500, you know, our YLD, our Young Lawyers Division, they have started a DU mentorship program, and they're starting one at CU in the fall, and that could support those mentorship programs. We have created a group called the Allies, which we partnered with the Sam Carey Bar Association, and this is a group for Black associates to gather together from big law. There's not many, you know, at their big law firms, and $500 could sponsor a monthly allies meeting, which would be huge. One of our allies said, I wanted to share this with you because I know you'll love it. I have really enjoyed getting to know other Black associates in Denver. Working at a law firm can be challenging and isolating, especially as a minority. And I have appreciated having this new group of friends to confide in. I always look forward to our monthly meetings and am very glad to have this community.
I do love that. I love it because it really speaks to how representation is so key. It's so critical. And so if $500 speaks to you, please feel free to donate now. And I do want to give some thank yous and shout outs to people who are coming in. We want to thank Ryan Payton for $1,000. Thank you so much for your generosity. Joel Sayers for $500. Thank you. Jay and Stephanie Kamlet for $500. And please, if you recognize, I'm sure you recognize quite a few names, please feel free to shout out as well. Rolf Asbog?
Yeah, board member, longtime CLI board member for $500. Thank you, Rolf. And Patricia Powell, oh my gosh, Patty Powell has been a longtime supporter of CLI. She was actually one of the people who started the organization and has been a family friend of mine for about 40 years. So thank you so much for your contribution.
Absolutely, thank you. And so what if we take that $500 and we divide that in half and you chat for a moment about $250?
Sure, so with $250, we can really join membership organizations that help us. Organizations like the National Association for Law Placement that offers just so many resources. We could also afford to send me to conferences like the National Conference of Black Lawyers, where I could bring back that knowledge to our community and share what I learned. $250 could also go a long way.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, and I see we have some people coming in at the $500 level. Sorry, is that?
Yeah, Chales Robinson.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you.
We have Judge Gary Jackson, who has been a longtime supporter of CLI and has done so much for equity, diversity, and inclusivity.
Absolutely. I mean, so many. And I do want to say this to everybody. If you don't hear your name, please know that the only reason why you don't hear your name is that so many people are being so generous and it's going so quickly that we can't keep up. So
I mean, Supreme Court Justice Melissa Hart has donated.
Thank you.
It's amazing to look at these names and to see Jordan Fox from our own board has donated. Yeah. It's incredible to see people really looking out and supporting CLI. Amy Larson, the executive director of the Colorado Bar Association and the Denver Bar Association and the continuing legal education, she does so much, it's unbelievable, donating. And John Olafson donating, it's just amazing. Thank you all so much.
So we're going to keep moving. We have one more level that I'm going to call out, and that is the $100 level. And so share with everybody what $100 could possibly do for CLI.
You know, CLI does have a lot of administrative costs, especially, Debbie, we provide continuing legal education credits for our programming, and those costs add up. And especially with this new equity, diversity, and inclusivity rule, those costs are going to add up. So $100 can really be helpful to offset those costs.
Absolutely.
It would mean a lot to us.
Absolutely. And you know, what's important for people to realize is that any amount, right, the impact just builds upon another amount.
Right.
So it doesn't matter what you give, it's the collective giving that is really important. And we have Cami Pomerantz at 100, thank you so much. Melissa Reagan at 250, thank you so much. Maritza Braswell at 250. So many are coming. That's why we're not able to say thank yous to everyone by your name, but please know that we are so grateful.
And our board chair, Phyllis Swan, coming in at 250. We thank her so much. And our marketing director, Allison Euler-Mitch, coming in at $100. Thank you so much. Truly amazing seeing all of your names up here.
So I want to say that if you're sitting at home and you're thinking, you know what, Demi, you did not call out the dollar amount that I wanted to give, and maybe for you that dollar amount is like $50,000, I don't know. Or maybe for you tonight, what's accessible is $10. I want you to know that you may give any amount at any time, and it is all very much appreciated. So thank you for your generosity. And now I think we're kind of all amped up for the moment that people are so excited about. And I'd love to invite Phyllis back to the virtual stage to introduce the Lifetime Achievement Award. Hello.
Hello. Thank you. You guys have been busy.
It's such a great busy to be.
I have not been able to see the scroll, but I see that. Thank you guys so much. You know, it's so wonderful to see the energy and the confidence that this clearly exhibits for CLI in the work that we've been doing for many years. But this next award, as you said, is something that everyone has been waiting for. And so thank you for your patience. Yes, we always save the best for last. This next award is the Judge Wiley Daniel Lifetime Achievement Award. And this award is given out by the board of CLI each year. We've been giving this award, the Lifetime Achievement Award, out. This will be our 7th year. But last year, the award was named for Judge Wiley Daniel, who was such an incredible champion for diversity, equity, and inclusion, a mentor to everyone in Colorado. Quite frankly, that last year, we renamed the award for Judge Wiley Daniel. So as I said, the board decided this year unanimously that this Lifetime Achievement Award should go to our fellow board member, Judge Christine Arguello. So Judge Arguello grew up in a town called Thatcher, Colorado, but she was raised in Buena Vista, and she eventually went to the University of Colorado for her undergraduate degree, but she found her way to Cambridge and went to Harvard as the first Latina from Colorado. I won't give you the year, And then she came back after, and she decided, yes, she wanted to come back to be with her family and where her roots were. And she worked at Holland and Hart, she worked at Davis Graham at law firm, she went to the Attorney General's office. She spent some time teaching. She wanted to be a professor, and she taught at the University of Kansas before deciding she wanted to come back to Colorado. She eventually found her way to the federal bench in 2008. She was appointed. But throughout that time, no matter where Judge Arguello was, she was always dedicated to giving back to the younger people. She had a special passion for helping those, like people who had helped her, to pull up those younger people and give them a chance like people had given to her. So I have to say that this award is something that has been long coming. Anyone who knows Judge Arguello knows that she is most deserving of this award. As you're going to see, she was the founder of an organization called Law School, Si Se Puede, Yes We Can, which reaches out to high school and college students. She has mentored dozens and dozens upon them. You're going to hear in the video how they are now going their way through to law school and going to enter the legal profession. So once again, I want to say we are thrilled that the Board of Directors is thrilled to announce Judge Arguello as our 2021 Judge Wiley Daniel Lifetime Achievement Award winner. But you don't really have to take any of that from me. I want you to watch in this video right now, hear what others have to say.
I am a Colorado native. I was born in what is now a ghost town called Thatcher, Colorado. It's out in the middle of nowhere between La Junta and Trinidad. My dream from age 13 on, when I read this article on law schools and lawyers, was to become a lawyer and go to Harvard. I was fortunate that I became the first Latina from Colorado to be admitted to Harvard Law School and to graduate from Harvard Law School. And I wanted to be a trial lawyer because that's what I thought lawyers did. I thought they tried cases. I didn't know anything else because I was first generation. My parents didn't graduate from high school. The reason I am so involved in equity, diversity, and inclusion issues is because when I became a partner at Holland & Hart way back in the day, 1988, I was the first partner of color that they had. That to me was astounding. They'd been in existence for 40 years, and I was the first person of color to come into partnership with that firm. And I give them credit because they knew there was something wrong with this picture.
You know, we always heard, we can't find any attorneys of color. There's nobody out there. And she said, well, let's change that. Let's make it so that people not only have the vision of going to law school, but see the vision of themselves being an attorney.
I have traveled this state with several different lawyers, one in particular being Judge Roberto Ramirez. He and I have gone to La Junta, we've gone to Rifle, we've gone all across the state to talk to students, to give them, who are in high school or junior high, to give them inspiration. All we do is tell our personal stories, to say, I was once you.
We came up with this idea to take serendipity out of the picture, to help young people, diverse people, to get them to a place where those things didn't matter, where they could be on an equal playing field with other talented, really talented students and help them through the process from graduating high school all the way through law school.
I'm a 3L at the University of Colorado Law School. I'm about to be a JAG for the United States Marine Corps. I just finished up the first part of the training. That was a blast. Yeah, I'm about to sit for the bar in July. I think another probably big thing is that this graduation is probably going to mean the most just because I'm the first to graduate from elementary school in my family.
Currently a student at DU Law. I went to undergrad at CU in Boulder, and I am a first-generation student both in college and in law school. And I'm actually on my way out of law school right now. I'm year 3, about to graduate in May and sit for the bar in July.
Now, if someone of color or someone of a certain religion comes into court and sees no one who looks like them, how are they going to really feel about equal justice for all? And so I think as we become more diverse in society, we need to become more diverse in the legal profession and on the bench.
So she said, how we best can do that is create a program that's a mentoring program. But that mentoring is not just sit and have coffee or lunch once in a while, but it's intense. It includes resume writing, includes interviewing skills, meet the other judges, meet other lawyers, and have a number of individuals work with each mentee or fellow throughout their undergraduate careers so that they can be successful, not only in their undergraduate education, but in their application to law school.
I consider Law School Yes We Can and CLI to be very compatible because I'm trying to increase the pipeline so that there are more students coming out at the other end so that CLI can then help get them integrated into the firms and the firms can then become the diverse firms that they want to become.
Judge Arguello's commitment to equity and diversity and inclusivity is unmatched, in my opinion. I have seen her work tirelessly over the last decade.
What I'm most proud of in my mom's career is the fact that I know that she's accomplished a lot. I'm very proud of her for getting to where she is, but I think the thing that stands out the most to me is how much she has actually focused on helping others in their careers, getting them to be able to make it further on than where they might not have before. I hear all the time coming up in the legal community now about how much my mom has mentored this person and that person.
I personally have benefited from that tremendously because she just puts out the help, and if you're willing to rise to the occasion, right, and take the opportunity, she's there for you. That's just her nature. If you're around her, she makes you better.
Judge Arguello always has this saying where she says that all you need is ganas, that being will. And she always has repeated that over and over to us. You just need ganas.
Judge Arguello, you are so deserving of this award because you are making a difference. You set that out as I think as a lifetime goal to make a difference for others, whether representing them as an attorney or representing the people of the state as in the Attorney General's office or as a judge. But now taking these children under your wings, and you are the mama for all of them, and you do make a difference for all of us and all of them in being the trailblazer. That's what you are, a trailblazer. And you break the glass ceiling for people that otherwise would never be able to get through.
Congratulations. It's always such an honor to receive a recognition of this kind, and I think that it's totally deserved.
And now that Viri and I are about to be mentors and for the next generation of fellows, I think it shows how much you've put in. I think you deserve this and everything else.
I know that she would want to say, if you have it in your heart, if you are somebody who's watching this and you believe that these principles are important, go to our website, become a mentor, give us your time, give us your resources. Congratulations, Judge Arguello.
I'm very proud of my mom for being recognized, and I know that she's very happy to be recognized in honor of Wiley Daniel, who was her mentor and her partner in crime, really, in making sure that all of these minorities, these underrepresented communities are uplifted and able to have more opportunities in the world and in the business and legal community.
It was a real loss to me when Wiley passed away, and so this award means a lot to me because it's in honor of my dear friend.
Oh, Judge, how amazing you are. We are so thrilled to give to you this year the Judge Wiley Daniel Lifetime Achievement Award to the Honorable Christine M. Arguello. Congratulations. You are so inspiring to so many, to me personally, to our organization, and to hundreds and hundreds of people. Think of all of the lives that you've touched. Thank you so much for the work that you've done for this community.
Well, thank you, Sarah, for this honor.
Congratulations.
Phyllis, thank you.
We know you have lots more to come.
All right. I'm so excited. I'm so honored. As they mentioned, it is the CLI board that awards this recognition. And the CLI board is composed of some of the biggest movers and shakers in the Colorado legal community. So it is a tremendous honor for me that they selected me for this recognition. As I mentioned in the video, this is a special award because Wiley Daniel was my, I call him comrade in arms. My son called him my partner in crime. But yes, we fought many a legal battle, many a diversity battle on the legal professional front. I want to thank Marco Briones for the video that he put together. He did such a fabulous job with that. Patrick O'Rourke, thank you for the beautiful letter that you wrote nominating me. But for your letter, I don't know if I would have received this. I want to thank my dear friends Lorenzo Trujillo and Judge Roberto Ramirez for walking by my side as we have undertaken this incredible journey with Law School Yes We Can, and we're starting to turn out lawyers from diverse backgrounds into the community. Thank you to my adopted grandchildren, Tomas Manriquez and Viri Valdez, for being tenacious and never giving up, no matter how rough the road became. Now, everyone believes that judges should not cry. So I hope I can get through this next part without crying. I am dedicating this award to my late husband, Ron, who was my rock and my soulmate. Now, many of you knew him as a quiet, stoic, private man who did not like to be in the limelight, but who loved for me to be in the limelight. He was my biggest supporter. He was the perfect counterbalance to me, actually, because as you know, I'm very outgoing and I don't mind being in the limelight. And I want to pay tribute to him tonight and to paint for you a picture of this incredible man who is my lifetime mate. My words are not going to do him justice, but I will do the best that I can in the time that I have. Let me start at the beginning. When I was in high school, I came from a very stereotypical Hispanic family. And when I was in high school, my father counseled me, and I loved my dad dearly. But he counseled me that men did not like their wives being smarter than them or being better educated than them. And he was worried that I was never going to be able to get married because I was unwilling to dumb myself down to find a man. He didn't want me to give up on my dreams, but he wanted me to try to just lower it a few notch. But you know, you who know me know that's not me. I wanted to go to Harvard, and I was smart. And I was going to prove to everybody that I was smart enough to get into Harvard. And I thought to myself, well, I'm going to be a career woman anyway. I'm going to be able to support myself, so I don't really need to get married. And especially because no man was ever going to tell me what I could and could not do with my life. And then I met Ron my first week at college. I was the lowly freshman, he was the upperclassman. He was cute. He actually looked like Donny Osmond. I couldn't believe that he was actually interested in me. And he was not intimidated by my intellect. He was not put off by my extreme candor, because I can be very candid, as those of you who know me know. And I'm pretty self-assured. One of my favorite stories about him is when we would take walks, he always held my hand. And we'd be talking, and he'd stop in his tracks. And he'd take his hand from mine, and he would go. First time he did, I said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "That was a 5-syllable word that you just used. I've never dated a girl who spoke in more than 2 syllables." So he was always joking like that. When I told him my dream was to become a lawyer and to go to Harvard Law School, he wasn't put off. Instead, he was supportive, and he said, "I think that's great." Just as importantly, he cooked, he cleaned, he ironed his own clothes. I didn't know that God made Latino men like that. And to tell you the truth, I think that they're very rare, whether they're Latino or not. Ron and I got married 4 months after we met. I knew he was my soulmate. He knew I was his. And marrying him was the best thing I ever did. And I can honestly say that I would not be standing here before you with all of the successes that I've had if he had not been by my side that entire time. And honestly, my senior year in college, even though it had been my dream to go to Harvard since I was 13, I got cold feet. I was afraid of failure. And I thought, what if they reject me? What if they don't accept me? And he said to me, very matter-of-factly, can you live the rest of your life not knowing? And it was that simple advice that he would give to me throughout my life that would put things into perspective. And so I applied, and of course the rest is history. Now people often ask me very incredulously, you went to law school being married? How did you do that? And I look at them and I say, you went to law school not being married? How did you do that? Because during law school, and actually throughout my entire life, Ron was my shrink, he was my cook, he was my cleaner. All I had to do in law school was study and go to class. He made sure that I had every free moment I could have. When I got my first C ever in my entire life, it was at Harvard, my first semester, my first class, and to me a C was an F. I thought I was a failure. And I moped around, and he let me mope around. He was very loving, and he was very encouraging, until the next day when I got up and I started to feel sorry for myself again, and he said, enough, stop. Did you know that material? And I said, yes, I did. He said, then what does it matter what your law professor thought? You're going to go out there and you're going to be a lawyer and you're going to represent people, and it's the knowledge that counts now. It's not the grade. Very simple advice, but boy, it really cleared things up in my mind. Those of you who know me, and as they mentioned, I've had many different jobs because I tend to get bored after 5 or 6 years. And Ron was always so supportive. No matter how many times I said I need a change, he would say, what will make you happy? And he would tell me to do whatever it was that would make me happy, even if it meant he had to move to Kansas, which he did not want to do, but he did for me. When we started our family, he was the dominant caregiver. He sacrificed his career so that I could have mine. He was an elementary school teacher for 30 years. He could have been a principal, but he chose not to be because he wanted me to be able to spend the time I needed to be successful in my career. He had the biggest heart. I mean, he had students who wrote to him. He taught elementary. They wrote to him when they got to college to tell him how much of an impact he had on their life, the same way my teachers had an impact on my life. He had the biggest heart. And he always had a smile on his face and a joke on his tongue. He was by my side every step of the way, and without him, I honestly can tell you, I would not be where I am today. I believe that God places every person on our path as a gift. Ron, you were the utmost gift to me, and I dedicate this award to you. I also want to give special thanks to my son, Ron, who you saw in the video. Thank you, honey, for stepping in, stepping up to the plate, and becoming the rock that I and the rest of our family need at this time. Now, I'm not going to give my usual spiel on the importance of inclusivity and diversity because I will be preaching to the choir. You all are tuned in because you are already committed to diversity and inclusiveness. You support the Center for Legal Inclusiveness because you believe in the mission. I will say, however, that it brings me great joy to see how much this Colorado community is supporting organizations like the Center for Legal Inclusiveness, like Latinas First, the Pledge to Diversity, the Symposium on Race, and yes, my program, Law School, Yes We Can. My message tonight is for the younger generation. It is my hope that watching me receive this award and listening to the words that I speak to you will inspire you. And in 20 years or so, we're going to see you standing here receiving the Lifetime Achievement Award. And you may be thinking to yourself, yeah, right. Well, please know that when I was your age, many moons ago, more than I care to admit, it never occurred to me that I would be fortunate enough to live the life that I have lived, or that one day I would be standing here accepting a Lifetime Achievement Award. What I want to tell you is that you all have it in yourself to be successful, in whatever you undertake. Please do not ever forget where you come from and who helped you get to where you are. Now, people ask me why I give so much time of my own mentoring and inspiring young people. And I want to tell you a short story. When we first started Law School Yes We Can, we had Justice Scalia come to CU Law, and a couple of my students from CSU Fort Collins couldn't make it down here. They didn't have a ride. So I drove to Fort Collins, and I picked him up and I brought him back to Boulder, and then I took him back to Fort Collins. And one of the young ladies who was in our program said to me, why are you doing this? What is in it for you? And why would I go out of the way for her? So I will tell you what I told her. I am a people person, and I enjoy getting to know people. Picking her up and taking those hours out of my time gave me an opportunity to actually get to know her better. More importantly, from a broader perspective, I believe that there's more to life than just being born, growing up, working, and dying. I believe, as I mentioned earlier, that God places each of us on this earth to make the world a better place. God has blessed me with so much in life, and I think it is only right that I become the gift that God has placed in the path of others. This young lady wanted to become a lawyer, and God placed me in her path. So I am her gift. My role in her life was to help smooth out that road for her. She is now in law school, and she is giving back to the community every day. I merely try to be a gift to everyone whose path crosses mine. My hope is that they in turn will be a gift to those who cross their path. In closing, I want to leave you with two tenets by which I have tried to lead my life. The first comes from the Lakota Instructions for Living. Whatever you do in life, do the very best you can with both your heart and your mind. The second comes from the last stanza of my favorite poem entitled Success. To know that even one life has breathed easier because you have lived. That is to have succeeded. Thank you.
Oh, Judge. I think many, many, many lives have breathed easier because of you. You are so incredible. You have changed so many people's lives. I cried during that speech, but you got through it. You are amazing. Thank you so much for accepting this award. You truly inspire so many of us, and I am just honored. And without words, truly. And that doesn't happen to me.
Thank you, Sarah.
You're incredible. What a great night, Phyllis.
Gotten through most of it.
Thank you. Yeah. I just want to say something before, because we're reaching kind of the end of our time together, right? And I want to say, wow, it's been an amazing night, right? We can agree on that. And I want to do one more challenge to everybody who's watching. And I want to challenge you, if maybe you haven't given, or even if you have given, to think about all of the nominees and all of the award recipients. Think about the amazing Lifetime Achievement Award and what we just heard. And I'd like to challenge you to think about donating any amount in honor of one of the organizations or one of the recipients tonight. So I want to personally thank you all for being so generous this evening. It's been an honor to be here with you tonight. Thank you so much, and I'll turn it over to Sarah and Phyllis for any last minute thoughts.
Thank you so much, Debbie. You're amazing. Thank you so much for leading this effort and for really being our leader tonight. We needed you. Phyllis, you have no idea how amazing you are. and how we feel about you as an organization. You have certainly just amazed us at all that you have done for this gala and all that you do for CLI. So thank you so incredibly much. I know my hands are a little cold, so I apologize. And I just want to thank all of you for watching, for taking the time out of your schedule, for sitting with us, for watching our awards, for learning from us, for supporting us, for caring about equity, diversity, and inclusivity, and seeing it as a racial and social justice tool. That's what we're dealing with. It is so exciting, and I am so excited for what we are going to be doing in the future. I just can't wait. Phyllis?
Yeah, oh no, absolutely. And like I said in the beginning, you know, we can't wait to get together again. We can't wait to do this next year in person with you, where we can hug you and we can laugh with you and we can have food with you and celebrate the next round of wonderful leaders we have in this community. I have to tell you, this last year, just you have all stepped up for CLI, but really for your colleagues, for the people in the community. So thank you again. And I can't end without saying thank you one more time to Sarah, who has really done a phenomenal job. But SJ, come and say hello. Those of you who know her name and have not seen her, this is Snuffleupagus. SJ has done so much for this. She has even delivered some of your party packages. So without Sarah and SJ, this would not have been possible in the board and the gala. And thank you guys for joining us tonight. We can't wait to see you next year or sooner in person. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Good night.
We're so grateful. Good night. Thank you.